Hello and welcome to another review. Today we're going to be looking at a very simple alarm clock, but it's got a lot of cool features in it that I think are worth checking out. This is the Tsumbay square-shaped digital alarm clock, and there are some really cool features about this, so let's go over just the box and everything. Alright, so this is kind of what the display looks like. We have a bunch of options in there. It keeps track of month and date, reads the temperature. You can set it looks like 3 alarms down here, battery indicator, and the text is pretty large for seeing what time it is. Also, day of the week. Kind of useful, especially for me because I'm always asking myself, is today Wednesday or Thursday? Alright, so there's a bunch of different features that they talk about, different types of group alarms, things like that. Alright. And that looks like it talks about all the features on it, so let's dive in. Alright, there's a bunch of different colors, red, blue, white, black, and green, and this is the one that I was asked to review, the blue one. So let's see what's inside. Alright. So inside we get a micro USB cable. This is for charging it. One of the cool things about this alarm clock is that it's USB powered into a battery, so you never have to worry about buying AA or AAA batteries. There's one built in. That also means, in about 7 or 8 years, you're probably going to notice that the battery can't hold a charge anymore, but honestly, at the price that this is, a 7 or 8 year old alarm clock is pretty sweet. Alright, so some of the features. It's LCD, so it's got an actual liquid crystal display on it. There's lighting, it's rechargeable and everything else like that. So I'll just quickly move this up. If you want to read it, you can pause it at any point. And the backside. I don't know, some people like to read the instruction manual on an item before they purchase it, so this will help if anybody needs it. Alright, now that's out of the way. We can toss this out of the way, we'll come back to it later. Let's see what it looks like. Alright, nice little foam envelope. Alright, there are some plastics on here that I'm eventually going to remove. Actually, let's do it now. Ooh, that looked kind of weird, huh? The static electricity from this little plastic film kind of set off the LCD, I think. So that was interesting. So the front face is very, very clean. It's a nice big display screen. It's got nice rounded corners. Looks like touch is an option up here. I guess it's touch sensitive as opposed to a button, which kind of cool. All right. And everything else is just a very nice, smooth, simplistic build. So when people see this, it looks very simple. It almost looks Apple-like. I'm not saying it's any sort of ripoff of Apple's design, but, you get what I'm saying. It's smooth, it's sleek, and it's awesome. It's a compliment in all ways. Alright, so on the back we have a bunch of buttons, set, Celsius, Fahrenheit up, 1224 down. I guess these buttons probably do multiple things depending on which screen you're on. Alright, we have a volume setting, a little speaker hole, 3 buttons for alarms. I guess you maybe use this to turn on or off the alarms. Alright, workday alarms, I guess 1 through 5, 1 through 6, or 1 through 7. Ooh, oh, okay. So you can actually set your alarm, because if you work 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, you would probably set it to that so you could sleep in on the weekends. 1 to 6, I'm not sure how you'd indicate which day, but I'm sure there's a way to show that. And then 1 through 7 is all of them. So that's pretty cool. And there's also an on-off switch, and then at the bottom we can see the charging port for the clock. So we plug it in. I am also wondering if you could just leave it in the entire time, and then it kind of acts like a battery as more of a the power's gone out type of backup. I'm gonna take a look at that too in the instruction manual. I'll get back to you with it. But anyway, it's a nice fit. I imagine you just kind of charge your clock and it lasts for, I don't know, weeks or maybe even months. Again, I'm gonna have to take a look at that, see what the specifications are. But first impressions, this looks awesome. Also worth noting, there's a battery health indicator down here at the bottom too, so it looks like it'll let you know if you ever need to replace or recharge, actually, your batteries. Alright, so after this I'm going to play around with it, get used to it, go over the features, what I discovered, what I like, what I dislike, everything else about that. So I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so I got some time to play around with it, read through the instructions and everything else like that. The first thing that I want to get out of the way is, it's not horrible, but it's like a little point of criticism. So I've gone through the process of setting this and everything, and what I do is if I turn the device off completely, and then I turn it back on, unfortunately the time resets to what the defaults are, which are basically starting everything at its base value. It's really not bad because I never plan to turn this thing off. I guess the on-off switch is more here for the idea that I don't plan to use this alarm clock for like 2 years. I'm going to turn it off. That makes a lot of sense, actually. And that's fine. So I guess the idea is you never want to turn this off. I mean, honestly, I would prefer without the switch. I guess, again, this is them giving you something that, maybe shouldn't be so obvious in terms of what you can do with it. So the first time I saw it, I was like, that's interesting. But I've kind of thought over it, and I do like the idea that I can actually turn off all use of the battery. Because if the battery does die, it's probably bad if you drain a rechargeable battery down to absolute zero. So I get it. I just wanted to put that out there as a disclaimer so people understand. Again, it's a feature, but the use of the feature is perhaps a little too emphasized. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, but I kind of like it. Anyway, the clock just clicked from 12 to 1, so I've been talking about this for way too long. Anyway, from the back, we have a bunch of buttons, so I'm going to call out these buttons as I use them. I'm going to try to figure it out reversed. I'm going to have a hard time remembering when I flip it, but you press and hold the set button to change things. You can go up and down with these values. Then you have your 3 alarm buttons, the volume switch, the workday alarm, and that power switch as well. So let's go through the process of setting this alarm clock. So first thing I'm going to do, set button. I'm going to press and hold it. All right, we're in set mode. So every time that I press the set button, it's going to let me switch between each of the options. I'm going to go back and go over these. But press and hold set. All right, and we got it blinking. So now these two ones, up and down, these will allow me to change the values. So I'm going to move this. I don't even know what time it is. I'm going to guess it's 9 a.m. If I needed to go higher up in the afternoon, it auto switches for you. All right, and then the minutes, I don't know, let's say it's 9:13. How about that? I press set again, and every time I press set, it lets me bounce through these. All right, it's 2000, oop, that's the wrong way. It's 2018. It is January, so I don't need to change that. And today is the 16th. All right, and when I press that, everything gets locked in. And you'll notice it actually did point to the correct day on a Tuesday, so that's really nice. All right, so some other things that we have going on is this top button is pretty cool. When I touch it, I get an illuminated piece, illuminated back screen. And it turns off after 5 seconds. So that's really nice. All right. And if you press and hold it, nothing really happens. Sometimes I like playing around with buttons to see if they do anything, but they don't. All right, so these 3 alarms we have to work on next. Those are these 3 buttons, all right? And when I press one, it will show up or off. So I can set all 3, or I can turn off 2 of them, or I can just set the middle one, or these 2, or whatever I want. Each button basically toggles it. Now, if I want to set the alarm, I press and hold it, and then it brings me to setting. And then those up and down buttons should be working. Oh, I was pressing the wrong one, so that would be why. Let's set that for 9. All right, and then I press the alarm button again, and then it brings me to set this. So I didn't press a set button to jump. I had to press the alarm button. I keep messing up the buttons. We'll set it to 9:15. So that way we can hear this go off in a minute. Any second now. If it's an excessive amount of time, I'll leave a little caption that tells you to go to that. But, oh, there we go. All right, so that's the beep. It's kind of hard to hear if I point the speaker away from you. And it keeps increasing in intensity. I like this. It's pretty cool. Let's see how far it goes, or how angry it gets at us. Sounds like a bomb's about to go off with like a countdown timer. This would definitely get me up in the morning. It would drive me absolutely crazy. I'm just waiting to see if it does anything else out of frustration, like maybe in the last 10 seconds of the minute. And then it turns off. That's not bad. Okay. So let's go back and set our alarm. Alright, we'll keep 9:15, but we'll make it 9:17 so it goes off at another point. While that's happening, I'm just going to show you the backside for the other pieces. All right, we have the volume level, so that was low. So we're going to try it loud. And then we also have this workday alarm. 1 through 5, 1 through 6, 1 through 7. After consulting the manual, 1 through 5 is for Monday through Friday. 1 through 6 is Monday through Saturday. And 1 through 7 is all days of the week. All right. So when I change it, you'll actually notice that they change on here. Let me just realign the switch. All right, 1 through 6, 1 through 7. So that's kind of cool how it will bounce through each one. All right. Once this 9:17 alarm goes off, you'll hear it as loud. I know it's kind of difficult to translate that idea to the actual speakers on my phone, but it is significantly louder. All right, so we'll see how this works. I'm assuming it's the same thing, but I'm going to tap the snooze button in a second to see how that works. Yeah, this is getting loud. The intensity is nice, and it gets really annoying. I feel like it's like counting in weird intervals that kind of like annoy you a little bit and wake you up. So it's the perfect way to wake up in the morning, especially if you're a heavy sleeper. So I'm going to try to snooze it. And then it went quiet. And then this little blinking snooze icon guy over here is Zing away. All right. So I think it's pretty cool. And then when you're ready to turn off the alarm, you can. All right. And when I pressed it the first time, it actually turned off that snoozing, and then it turned off the alarm. So that's actually pretty cool as well. All right. So this is a pretty sweet alarm clock. I like it. I like the design. I like how it's very like simplistic. It's got a very beautiful blue color for it. I'm hoping that the camera really brings out the light of it. This is a cool device. I'm going to end up using this probably as my alarm clock for a lot of reasons. The biggest thing, though, is, you know, that I can just charge it off USB, so I never have to worry about AA batteries again. I have a set of AA batteries for, like, some Nintendo Wii U controller or Wii controllers and things like that, but I don't like to put them in, like, an alarm clock that I'll forget about, and, you know, if I decide to give this to somebody else, or I want to put it away in storage, you know, during the summer when I don't need an alarm clock. I'm kind of bragging as being a teacher, but anyway, you know, it kind of allows you to not have to worry about misplacing those batteries. I have some AA batteries that are missing. I have no idea where they are, and they're probably in something weird or silly like a remote for some odd product. So anyway, the rechargeable battery internally is great, and for the price, I think it's like $15 on Amazon. It's worth buying. This is an awesome product. So anyway, if you're looking for birthday presents or anything like that, this might be the thing to get somebody. All right. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review. And if you have any criticism, please leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching.